Three, two, one, Ghostface. Hey, everybody. Welcome to 3, 2, 1 Ghost. I'm your host, Face, with a silent G, Kyle. And as always, joined by my pal, Natalie. Hey, Natalie, fellow host, Face. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Oh my gosh, y'all. We're here. It's a temporary stop along a
Yeah.
journey that began with an idea amongst friends that decided we talk so much about stupid shit. Why wouldn't we just record it and share it with the world? And we've been doing this plenty, but I really think some high marks so far. We're like, what, 40 something episodes deep, is this Scream series we've been doing. And here we
hmm
are, at the end of our released Scream movies, at least up until this point. 2023's Scream 6, presented by Coors Light.
It really is.
This is directed again by Radio Silence, who did Scream 5 or Scream 2022 or 5 Cream, as I've heard it
I
from
like
time
five
to time
cream.
again. Yeah, me too. And gosh, it feels like the 90s again. Here we are. We're 14 months between Scream sequels.
hmm
We've got Screams winning MTV Movie Awards. Shout out Best Movie. It beat let me look. Avatar, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Nope, Top Gun,
Wait,
Maverick.
they still do. They still have the MTV Movie Awards?
They still do. This was the one
Hmm.
where um old friend alert, actually Drew Barrymore was going to host, but then she dropped out of it because she was like, crossing like the picket line during the Writers Guild strike and everything. So this movie, just looking through real quick, won Best Movie because hell yeah, and then also Best Fight between Courtney Cox and Ghostface. So gosh,
That's fun.
so we're winning MTV Movie Awards. We're having quick sequels. We're having charming supporting, roles by young men named Gooding Jr. Here we
Mm,
are. It just feels like we're in the 90s again. Doesn't it feel incredible?
it feels great. Yeah. Wait, do they still do the VMAs too? The Video Music Awards?
I think so. I mean, music videos still exist.
But do they watch them? Like, do the youths watch music videos?
Mm, I'm far removed from being youthful, but I definitely remember being that guy that like drunkenly made people watch like OK Go videos on YouTube at parties.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
right. They have some good ones.
Yeah, we do. I said, yeah, we do. I mean,
You're in the band.
I may as well be. Um,
No one would notice if you just slipped on stage. You'd fit right in.
don't worry, guys. I brought my own treadmill. I'm good. Hey everybody, we're talking about 2023's Scream 6. I'm glad they just went back to just putting 6 at the end, right? Because
Yes,
that
thank you.
Scream nonsense. Stop confusing me. Stop confusing my Blu-ray 4K library. You're not fooling anybody. I'm putting it
Yeah,
right in
you're
between.
not
Yeah.
fooling anyone. Like no one thinks that this is the first. So just call it what it is. Scream 6.
Let's just hop right in with our now pretty big returning cast. Let's
Mm.
start with someone who is not returning, by the way. Nev Campbell. Um,
Mm.
kind of explained away in pretty dumb dialogue. I mean, actually,
Yeah. Very like it's just very like plain dialogue. Like I don't even know that it needed to be said or like Sydney even needed to be brought up because as fans, we all knew she wasn't in the movie. So we didn't really need to say it.
and especially when the motive has nothing to do with Sydney anymore,
Exactly.
you
hmm
know?
I agree.
So, but, just as we know, just fucking Spyglass fucked her over, was not offering her the money she deserved. We also learned,
hmm
spoiler alert, this might be well, very likely is the last movie with Melissa Barrera, because also Spyglass are fucking idiots.
hmm
Um, but on that note, our returning cast, we've got Melissa Barrera back as Sam Carpenter, daughter of Billy Loomis. What do you think of her in this movie?
Oh my God, she's so good.
Much
She's
better, huh?
amazing. She's amazing. And like I shared my feelings in our Scream 5 episode on how I felt about her then. I was like, yeah, she's fine. I don't think she was written like Sam was written particularly well until
Hmm.
the end of the movie, but she kicks ass this whole movie. I love her.
like your, well, I guess this isn't really like a new trilogy anymore, but I was gonna say, like with your, your Two Towers or your Empire Strikes Back or your Die Harders. Once you get past all the setup of like learning about them, now I don't know. I like this version of this character. I even liked her in the last one too.
I
Um,
didn't dislike her, just wasn't like wowed.
she just had a lot of that backstory to kind of just carry the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But yeah, so she's back. Also, we've got her sister Tara, played by Jen Ortega, who now at this point had just kind of blown up because all the Wednesday
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think anybody thought she was coming back for Scream 7. So either
No,
way,
I think she is also better in this movie, not because she wasn't great in the first one, but because she's not injured the whole movie. Like she actually gets to participate like
right.
in all of the conversations with the group and things like that, like the things we didn't really get to see from her in Scream 5. So I also think Tara is much improved.
Rounding out your core four, you've got, as I mentioned earlier, Mesa Gooding. I guess I said a Gooding
Mm.
Jr., huh? He's not Mason Gooding
Yeah, he's
Jr.,
not. Yeah, the junior is very specific.
but he's back as Chad. And then you've got Jasmine Savoy
Mhm.
Brown back as Mindy, the Meeks
Mhm.
Martin twins. Um, again, I thought they were certainly very pleasant in the first one. In the sixth one, I like them both better because I think they also have more to do.
For sure. I have so many notes about Chad, so I'll save them for the appropriate times. But um, Chad is my favorite person in this movie, so I'm just gonna spoil that.
He's very cute. I do think he settles into a version of the Dewey role a little bit,
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. I could see that.
right? Um, Now, of course, we've got another surprise returning cast member, Hayden Panettiere playing Kirby, who, I mean, we all just assumed she was dead at the end of Scream 4,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. You never officially see her die, but she does say in this movie that she was dead for 4 minutes. So that's a long time, by the way. I don't know what the record is, but 4 minutes is a long time to be legally dead.
That's a pretty long time.
For brain
Um,
damage?
yeah.
Yeah.
Or you think you'd be able to like usually like you see ghosts, something like a Frighteners situation. And then so maybe that's what she can see ghost faces that others can't. I don't know. Works
I
with
don't
them
think
to
that's what's
do
happening.
spooky grifts. I don't know. Hey everybody,
I
watch our
was
episode on the Frighteners.
I was very happy that Kirby made it into this movie and survives this one as well because I like the character of Kirby a lot.
I was worried that you would have two legacy characters who are this kind of tough, take no bullshit kind of situation, right? Both
Mhm.
between Kirby and then also I think our last returning survivor, Gail Weathers, played by
Mm.
the the illustrious, the iconic Courtney Cox.
They play well off of each other though.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like they definitely like have that fun generational gap where she's like, "You're a child." Like, do they let children into the FBI? And she's like, "I'm 30." And I was like, "Damn, you're getting old when you relate more to Gail than Kirby because I definitely was feeling how Gail was." I was like, "She's not even old enough to be an FBI agent."
They're both really fun in this. I like
Mhm.
that it feels like Gail gets more to do in this movie than she does in Scream 5. I guess the scene where she like leads them to the theater and then her conversation with Sam with the Dewey music, very cute,
I love that.
and giving her her own very fairly extended attack sequence. I think that's a lot more than she was given in Scream 5, even if the screen time was similar, even though I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it
Yeah.
is.
I guess okay. Now that you like laid out each scene that she was in, it does feel like more time. But I do love to see Gail like fuck some people up. Like I like to see her like kill someone, which is
Me
like
too.
it's always fun. So not having her in the final scene, like it makes sense for the situation, but I love to see her like take someone down.
Yeah, me too. Want to just hop right into the opening?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Um, I go back and forth on this opening. Right now, I like it. What do you think?
Oh, really? You go back and forth on it?
A little bit.
Oh, interesting. I wrote down that it might be one of my favorites. Um, as I was watching it, while it's not the most exciting the whole time, I remember when I was watching it in the theater. We saw this in the theater together with your wife. Which this is the only Scream movie that we've seen together in the theater too. So this one is special. But I remember like what while watching it, I was like really engaged in what was going on. And the fact that you follow Ghostface, like that last slash doesn't end in like the Scream title card, like that was really exciting to me. Or like not even exciting. I was just like, what the fuck is going on right now? So I like that it like feels different and that you then go into like following Jason. So I thought it was really fun. And Samara Weaving is amazing and funny and like just she's bringing it all.
She's so good. The first of our Ready or Not cameos in this movie,
Yeah.
um, two actors and a character. But
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Samara Weaving, like watching her at the beginning, like as she's, sitting there very nervous, right? She like, waves to someone who she thinks is Jason or whatever, or whoever, is calling on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it isn't. And even just that conversation, just she's just such
So
a fucking dork.
yeah.
And
Yeah. Which just makes her hotter.
yeah. And I was thinking it probably hasn't been since Scream 2 where I cared so much about the opening kill, like the person
Oh,
themselves, where
interesting.
I felt this kind of like almost like, oh gosh, oh no. Like I'm
Yeah.
thinking Scream 3, fuck Cotton, Scream 4, like it's all just played for more laughs anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So and there's so many opening kills that are
Mm-hmm.
fake and not fake that you're kind
Yeah.
of when the real one happens you're just kind of like, okay, we get it, you don't like garage
Yeah.
doors, um and Scream 5, it was honestly just like, it's fine. It was just kind of a slightly altered, just truncated version of the first movie, with the
Mm-hmm.
twist being that she doesn't die, sure, okay,
Yeah.
whatever. um but like, I don't know, I never cared about any of those, even Tara. I didn't at the time, I didn't care about any of these characters like I cared about Samara Weaving's character. And the last person I could think of was
Mm-hmm.
being very affected when Jada Pinkett dies, and she
Mm-hmm.
lets out that like guttural kind of cry and that scream,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course Drew Barrymore, like Jesus, that shit
No.
haunted me as a kid. So
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
she's super effective, and this is great. And why I was really
Mm-hmm.
worried when Jason kills her, the title card doesn't come, you reveal his face, which I'm like, okay, cool. First of all, even if I'm on the other side of the pendulum where I'm not feeling as hot on this opening, I'm always going to give that shit like A plus 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 for just taking this swing, because I do think it is. It's like, if you're going to keep trying to reinvent this opening, it's like, how else are you going to
Mm-hmm.
do it without just taking some risks and just doing some different shit. So I thought it
Yeah.
was more adventurous than the last one. So
The only thing that bothers me about this opening, because I actually think it's quite good because Samara Weaving's character is so like lovable, it is disappointing that she would go into a dark alley by herself. Like it seems, especially for her area of expertise, seems wild to me. And then also she she has like a very, it kind of reminds me of I Know What You Did Last Summer with Helen's death in the alley, like where there's like a lot of liveliness happening like right next to her. Like she didn't need to walk into the alley. So that's the only thing that's disappointing to me. Other than that, I really enjoy it.
I hate when people who critique movies are like, well, what I would have done is this and this and this, but what I think would have been maybe more effective, I'm not sure. I mean, I think a way for her. I don't know, maybe some How to Live, where she does fight him off. She gets stabbed a bunch, but you can clearly tell she's like survived, and he runs off because like maybe you hear someone yell down the alley. You're like, what the fuck's
Hmm.
going on? I don't know. So, and then you get to him racing back, taking his mask off, and then going back to his house. Because I think also that would have been interesting that because of all of this knowledge, she would be able to at least still kind of see it coming, even still kind of keep some of her wits about her. I don't know, instead
Hmm.
of killing her right then. But I'm not super married to that. I'm just coming up with that literally
Yeah.
just now.
Yeah.
But I do like this because also you never get to spend this sort of time with Ghostface
Mm.
underneath the mask unless they're giving their big bravado dramatic speech at the
Uh-huh.
end, right? Talking about their motives and then,
Yeah.
getting a little messy and then losing to Sydney eventually. Whereas
Hmm.
this, you get him just like sitting in the chair, talking to who he thinks is Greg,
Hmm.
um, really just kind of describing his like process and thinking and his feelings after killing somebody
Hmm.
and being able to kind of sit in that assumed safety. So
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this is all great. We're coming in really positive on this movie so
No,
far,
I
by the way.
know. Okay, but also the other thing that I do like, speaking of positivity, is I love seeing that other piece of Ghostface that you don't get to see either, where he has to leave that situation out of costume. So, like putting it in the backpack and then just walking down the street normally, interacting with other characters.
Just like
That's really
Spider-Man.
just like Spider-Man, except evil. But yeah, like you get to see that like that act being put on. So it makes you think about like all the times like you didn't see, Billy taking off the mask and the outfit really quick and just like shoving it wherever and like going about his day, still being creepy, honestly. But like I like the idea of them having to switch back into like being a normal person.
So like symbiote suit Spider-Man, you mean?
Sure. There you go.
Yeah. So when we get back, Jason at the apartment, I should get my card revoked. I forget which Friday the 13th he's watching. I think it's Takes Manhattan, isn't it?
Of course it takes Manhattan because it's Ghostface in New York. Come on.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And then of course you have like the last podcast on the left posters and all
Yeah.
of this. Why do they have security cameras in their apartment? They had to have installed that themselves because no fucking regular apartment building is going to do that
Hmm.
inside the units.
Okay, I have the same question because here's the thing. If you're a murderer or planning on being like a team of murderers, do you really want cameras in your house, like recording the footage of you coming in and like draping your bloody ghost face mask in the closet? Like,
Yeah.
fucking stupid. Like, that's some dumb shit, though, that college students would do, like cocky fucking dudes, like thinking that they could just get away with anything. There should not be security cameras. I'm absolutely not.
Honestly, the only thing I don't like about this opening is the warmer, colder game, you know?
There's no way that I would be playing that game. Like if we were both Ghostface killers and we were like, oh, we're not going to use the voice changer on each other, like we have this set of rules, I'd be like, no, we're not playing games. You're not using security cameras while I'm playing the hot and cold game. Absolutely not. Like we have a trust here. We murder together with the knowledge of the other person and what we're doing at all times. It's all a well calculated plan. And that's that. No games, no bullshit.
I'd be walking towards the front door and Ghostface would be going colder, colder, colder. I'm like, I,
Yeah,
I
and be
don't
like,
care.
peace out.
Why do you think I care about that? Goodbye.
Peace the fuck out. I
Other than the
agree.
kind of dumb irony that like the hotter he gets to the refrigerator. That's
Hmm.
where Greg is.
I didn't even think about that.
So, and then he kills the fuck out of Jason,
I
Ghostface.
love, okay, something I noticed this time that I'd never noticed before with Jason's kill. So he's like
Mhm.
stabbing him in the gut repeatedly. There's a shot of his intestine just kind of sticking out just a little bit. Like it almost looks like half a donut coming out of
Mm,
his tummy and it jiggles. I have never noticed that. Go back and watch it. It's so amazing.
I love
It's
that.
fantastic.
Love the details. This movie's pretty
Hmm.
brutal, with how light it is on kills. I mean, I guess you're
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal. Um, and goodbye, Greg. Greg's dead, but also
Hmm.
we don't. I don't know. Off-screen kills. Come on, get out of here.
Yeah.
So,
Poor Greg.
um,
Didn't even get in the movie.
didn't even get in the movie. And then Jason's like, "Oh, well, we need to finish Richie's movie. That's why we're here. That's why we followed Sam and Tara. Blah blah blah." And then
Hmm.
Ghostface says, "I don't fucking care about the movies.
Hmm.
Who the fuck cares?" Bam, slash, and then you get your Scream 6 title card.
Fun.
Yeah, I think ultimately, yeah, I think a super fun opening. I mean, it just without, I don't know. Honestly, even with my dumb suggestions, no, don't listen to those. So we cut to Sam, who, and then also our second Ready or Not cameo. We've got Henry Czerny playing her therapist, who, good on him, I guess. Good on him as a therapist for not Googling his clients. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you
That
don't
has to
find
be
out
like
who
an
that is.
that has to be like an unspoken rule of being a therapist or like a psychiatrist, like to not Google your patients because like you can even learn a lot from someone's Instagram. That's got to be like a thing, right? I don't know. It also
Yeah.
seems weird that if it was like such like big national news and so heavy on the internet that he would have like come across her face at least once.
Yet the family of the murderer in the last one are like completely able to just all just take on new identities
Uh-huh.
and keep all their jobs though, and no one
Yeah.
cares. And it's all, oh my God.
We have a lot to talk about with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not a great therapist.
And she didn't even say anything. Why is he reporting
Mm-mm.
her? Like, look, I mean, I agree with her, to be honest. She's like
Mm-hmm.
saying, like, look, I killed Richie. Yeah, I stabbed him 22 fucking times and slit his throat. And you know what? It felt right because it should have. Fuck Richie.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I can completely relate to that. If my boyfriend of 6 months murdered a bunch of people that I know and tried to murder me and my sister, I would definitely feel good stabbing him 22 times, slitting his throat, and then shooting him in the head for good measure. Like, yeah, it'd feel pretty fucking good.
Funny,
Come on.
she didn't even mention shooting his dead corpse right in the head. She didn't even mention that to the therapist.
I thought she did. Oh, maybe not.
I don't think
I
she
wrote
did.
down all the things that she did to Richie because it's one of my favorite kills, I think, in the whole franchise is her killing Richie.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. The therapist, like, also though, it's alluded later on, like, is like a horror fan and like collects, like, I don't know if he was supposed to be more of like a fleshed out red herring, but I don't
Mm,
know. Because
I
you
don't
only get these
know.
two scenes with him.
Yeah, and I mean, I could be misunderstanding this, but I thought that you only have to report someone if they like heavily imply that they may like inflict harm on themselves or another person. But saying that you enjoyed inflicting harm on someone in the past, I don't think you can report someone for that.
I don't think and she didn't even say enjoyed. I think it felt right. I was like, you know what? It did feel right to exact revenge like that. And
Yeah,
that's natural.
we
But
love revenge.
yeah, and I think, sure, the therapist could be like, all right, this is a little out of my wheelhouse. Thank you for letting me know. Let me refer
Yeah.
you to someone else. But
He went into full panic though. Like he looks panicked instead of being like, you know what? I'm really glad that you shared this with me because like I'm realizing that this is, not my area of expertise. Like let me find you someone who specializes in this sort of thing. Like he could have been more eloquent, but he looks so panicked.
I know. Um, and then I'm just stuck on like, well, at first I'm like, well, she must have had a court-ordered therapist, right? The both of them. But then I'm
Yeah.
like, I guess there was no court, there was no trial. Like, I was thinking if I was in Sam's position, I would have a lawyer, and that lawyer would be like, we're going after Richie's family, and she'd have to find out who they were then, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know. It shit makes no sense. But
Yeah.
so Sam leaves therapy. Um heads back to her apartment that she shares with Tara, as well as Quinn, who we're introduced to, the um, the sex positive roommate
I
of both of
love
them.
Quinn. I love Quinn pre-killer reveal. Like her character is awesome. I wish she wasn't one of the killers because I just enjoy her a lot.
Yeah, I think she's pretty fun in this. Um, Also, Tara lives there. Tara's at a Halloween party. Quinn thinks that's gonna fucking piss Sam off.
It does.
Does a little bit because, I
Hmm.
mean, Sam's got a point. Like, right? So she's feeling a lot of guilt. I get this, because ultimately the only reason Tara was attacked or even dragged into this was just because she's the half sister of Sam.
Hmm.
So I get where Sam's feeling that guilt. And then also, I'm like, Sam's also right. We're like, hey, no, we need to be going to therapy and like playing it safe. Cause like literally the
Yeah.
first time something happens, Tara's like, it's Halloween, people wear masks. And then like they get attacked like 30 seconds later. And you're,
Yeah, yeah.
you know? Um, so we've got Quinn. And then so the person that's supposed to be the guy that's in the bedroom is supposed to be Tim Robinson, allegedly.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
But so I don't know. That's fun. Maybe he was just hanging around.
Yeah. Like why?
I'll yell some stuff for you.
Yeah.
I just don't know why they would let this, even just like later on, like why would they let the strange man who's unseen to everybody else inside this apartment?
Well, okay, pre-murders, yes. Post-murders, no. Like
He
no
was
more
still
gentleman
there.
callers in the no, I think it was a different guy, right?
Well, even still, why let random
No, no,
people?
that's what I'm saying. Like no one like before everyone starts getting murdered, like it totally makes sense that like she'd have, guests in and out of the apartment. But post killings, I'd be like, all right, no guests. Like it's just the three of us. We live here and it's all good. Yeah.
Maybe Chad and Mindy. Sure. But
That's
really, I'd be
fine.
like, y'all
Yeah.
fend for yourselves.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think it's fine if they come over.
Basically, Reddit and 4chan and shit are spreading these, conspiracy rumors and shit that basically what Richie wanted, this narrative that like Sam's the
Yeah.
deranged, killer of a serial killer and this and this and this and this.
Hmm.
I mean, she only killed Richie. I'm like, they don't treat Tara like this. Tara also murdered somebody, by the way.
Yeah.
She
Yeah, she
she
killed
shot her
Amber.
friend in the head. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Sam's getting all of the heat on
Hmm.
this.
I think I'm it's is it not like intentional like to kind of share the parallel of like how Melissa Barrera was treated by fans post Scream 5? Because like all like I feel like a lot of the negative criticisms were on her as like a new final girl.
Yeah. We hop over to the Halloween party. Also, by the way, I love when movies take place on Halloween. Always. It doesn't matter.
Yes, I wrote that down too. I love that it's during Halloween, and I like that it's the way that we're reintroduced to our other characters too at this
Yeah.
Halloween party.
So you've got Mindy and her girlfriend, Danica. What's her name?
No, Annika.
Annika, whatever. I was close.
Hmm.
There's Danny and then there's Annika. That's where I
I
got
lo-
fucked up.
I love Annika. I think she's so fucking cute. I've never seen her in anything else. I'm not familiar with the actress, but her dressed up as a pumpkin, yes, absolutely. She's adorable. I love her.
I know. The other thing too is that Tara gets all on Sam for being overprotective and shit, but like everybody else is, and people who
They
weren't
all
even
are.
involved, like
Yeah.
Annika. So, but Tara only gets mad at Sam about this. So I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, be cool. You know,
Well, because those are her friends. Like Sam is a little bit outside of that
yeah.
circle because she's her older sister. She wasn't part of her like friend group. They had that time apart. Like Mindy and Chad were there for her in high school. So like I think that dynamic plays out a little bit differently. Like if your friends are overprotective of you versus like your parents being overprotective of you, you're definitely going to react differently to that.
That's fair.
Yeah, it is.
And also she's like, I really want to get with Chad, so I'm gonna be cool if Chad does it. I don't I
Yeah.
don't mind these men fighting over me. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So we're introduced to Chad again and his best bro, Ethan, who he dorms with.
They're pretty cute when they're like taking shots and he's like hyping him up for the party. I love it.
This dude, Jack Champion, the only other thing that I know of off the top of my head that he's been in is allegedly he's in that Avatar sequel. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, but I don't remember him being in it, but I also fucking hate that movie and it's so long that I lost interest like 10 times.
You're like the only person I've ever met in my life that's seen it. You the second one?
Yes, because I have a fucking 8-year-old and he was like, "Ooh, I want to watch Avatar." And I was like, "I've never even seen the first one." So I watched the
Ew.
second one and not the first one. And I would not recommend that movie to anyone. No one
Have you
at
seen
all.
the movie Fern Gully?
Yes.
Then you've seen the first Avatar.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
So Sam shows up perfect timing. Like, Chad and this dude, what's his name? Frankie? Oh, geez.
Date rape Frankie.
Never trust date rate Frankie and his bottle of Fireball.
And he looks 30.
Yeah. Well, hey, some of us can go back to college late. Get the fuck out of here.
No, but I mean like in relation to like Tara's age. Not I'm
I
not
know.
judging him for going to an education.
I also didn't have a room in a frat house when I was 30 and going back to college either. But
Did you notice too that he asks if she's in the frat Omega Beta Zeta?
is that I didn't check. Is that the same sorority from Scream
It
2?
is from Scream 2. I thought that was
Hmm.
kind of fun. I also looked up, this is important. I did have to look up Mason Gooding's age so that I made sure that everything that I said was okay. He's
Okay.
27, so I'm just gonna lay that out there right now. And I don't even know, is he a cowboy? Is that what he's supposed to be for Halloween? Because he's wearing a cowboy hat and a bandana.
Frankie makes a risky business reference, which means he has to be like 30 or 40.
Because he's
So
wearing, yeah, he's wearing that white button-up shirt. So that's what he's dressed up as too.
oh, I thought Frankie was calling Chad. Whatever, don't mind me. Yeah, I think he's a cowboy, just a sexy cowboy.
Um,
It's
Yeah,
working.
Mason Gooding, when he walks up to those stairs, the lighting on his muscles, I'm sorry, everyone, you're going to have to deal with this. The lighting on his muscles, I just needed to see him with his shirt off once. So I'm glad they just got it out of the way right in the beginning. And they were like, okay, now we're going to put a shirt on this poor kid. He looks great. He looks great.
Sam shows up just in time to tase Frankie in the balls. Seems like a lot, but
She should go to jail.
yeah, that's assault.
Yeah.
Not that she deserves Diet Cherry Coke tossed on her, but
No.
yeah.
No.
So they get out of there. They argue. Again, like I like Sam in this movie. I feel bad for her. She's
Yeah.
she's trying and she's definitely feels very kind of hanging on with the rest of the group. She's definitely alone with them, you know what I mean? Um,
I would have liked to see what Sam would have done had her friends not been holding her back from attacking the girl that threw cherry coke on her because she was fucking pissed, reasonably so. But like, yeah, they held her back and I was like, "Damn, like how wild would Sam have gone if she was just on her own and that girl threw cherry coke at her?"
Probably good for that fucking girl that she
I
never got to
know.
find out.
I think I think think she got lucky.
You've got some exchanges here back at the apartment where Quinn and Tara, Quinn's just giving it all out, saying, "Oh yeah, I lost my brother, made my dad a little unhinged."
Yeah. Obviously, she's one of the killers. As soon as she said she had a dead brother, I was like, oh, come on. Your dead brother is definitely somebody who was once a Ghostface killer. Come on.
100%. You've got the Tara and Chad reveal where Tara's just like, "Oh no, you can fight out dudes for me all the time. What's going on?"
Mhm. How do you feel about their romance?
They're both beautiful people, but I'm
Yeah.
not feeling the chemistry.
I see. I agree. Like, I think they're doing their best, like acting, like for flirting. They're both acting great, but it's not there. Like, I don't feel it. Like, I feel it with Danny and Sam.
Rich is our next scene, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
definitely feeling it between those two. Even
Oh
if
yeah.
the guy that plays Danny, it's like weird. I can't tell if it's his accent or some of the lines are just delivered just a
I
little
don't think he's
off
the best
kilter.
actor.
I don't care. He's great. I like him, and
Oh,
I
I
like
don't
his
care
energy.
either.
Oh, I'm sure you don't, but I
They're
agree.
hot together.
Yeah, yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
This is smoking. This is hot. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
Um, they're having this secret situation, and he's like, what I like about Danny is that every single time when she's like, here's my boundary, he's like, yeah, okay, all right, I'm here for you.
Yeah. No, I
Very
really
nice.
like Danny. And I don't know if he's supposed to be a red herring, but like they don't really play him that way. I think it's just that he's the boyfriend. So of course in your head you're gonna be like, maybe he's suspicious. But yeah, I think he's so like he reacts so well to everything and is very supportive.
It's like how you never really thought it was Jerry O'Connell in Scream
Yeah.
2. But even then,
Yes.
Jerry O'Connell was still kind of like, why are you shutting me out and this and this and this, or at
He was
least for a
pushy.
time. Yeah. Whereas like
He
Danny's just
said,
been
when all
very,
this is over, I'll still be here. That's a cryptic ass thing to say.
yeah, that's some Ghostface shit to say. Good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it is.
Um, they try to keep it secret, but like don't really for all of like 2 seconds. Because even Chad's just like, hey, I don't know who the fuck you two are, but hey, come on, let's get up here.
Yeah, and he just
Because
like runs up there into the apartment too. It's like, no, no, that's when you fuck off and go do your own thing.
And honestly, what lost me here is I just can't imagine a bunch of Gen Zers paying for cable and watching the
Watching the
news
news.
like multiple times. Like you just saw the
Yes.
news on. That is just not how people
Uh-uh.
absorb news. Like you'd
I
be
don't
reading
even
the
have
shit.
cable and watch the news that way.
Yeah,
Eh,
like that's
yeah.
weird. I feel like it would be pretty easy just to like hashtag Ghostface killing, hashtag like, and that's how they're searching for news on it. Like, granted, that's not as exciting.
One of them could have just been on their phone and been like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like instead of showing the whole room. But I do like that Mindy still like she said she calls Jason a chode. She's that chode from our film class. And I'm like, damn girl, he just got murdered. She did that, and this is when I start to like Mindy for those kinds of things, because that's fucking hilarious.
That chode with the Argento fetish.
Yeah.
That
Which
was pretty good. You mentioned
he
it
had a
earlier.
he had an Argento poster too on his wall somewhere too.
So let's see. So Sam gets a call also from Gail,
Mm-hmm.
which he doesn't answer. That's your first
Mm-hmm.
hint that, all right, Gail Weathers is back. She's involved
Mm-hmm.
somehow. Love this. And then Quinn's like, hey, my dad's a cop. He has all the information. Let's just call him over.
Yeah. I
Quinn absolutely is the killer.
yeah, exactly. Like it's all too like well wrapped up. And I love that when the phone rings and they all like freeze and kind of just like look, that Ethan's like, why did everyone freak out when her phone rang? I thought that was actually pretty funny.
Well, and then Annika, who, is the good friend, is like, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, fucking catch up, bro. Like, the
Yeah.
fuck?
You don't know the history?
This is when we find out that someone is maybe trying to frame Sam for these kills by
Mm-hmm.
leaving her ID at Jason's and Greg's death scene. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's when Detective Bailey, who is played by Dermot Mulroney, um, is like, "Hey, you need to come over to the station. We got to answer some questions."
Mm-hmm.
Sam heads that way. Tara being like, "Hey, you can't tell me that we got to stick together and then split up right now, so I'm coming with you."
Yeah.
Sam's like, "Whatever." Um, Sam gets her first Ghostface call of the movie from Richie's fucking phone. That's how you all
Mm-hmm.
know this is fucking connected, right? Because
Yeah, obviously.
what's it called? I'm sorry, I'm so dumb. It's something's theory where the most logical answer or most logical possibility is the most likely answer kind of situation.
Well,
And
that's what makes it the most logical possibility, right?
well, I guess so. But I'm just saying that it's usually the most fuck off. But but it's like, oh no, how is Richie's number calling us? Like, did someone clone his
Yeah,
phone? Does someone like find out what his number was somehow and then use it? I'm
yeah,
just like, no, it's because his fucking dad never closed the line on
yeah,
Verizon.
yep. Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, the most obvious answer is likely the true outcome.
Yep.
Y'all are like screaming at me, probably whatever the fuck this thing's called. But so either way, they get this phone call. Ghostface is just getting sassy real quick, being
Love
like,
it.
I'm coming at you. Um,
Hey, Sam's pretty sassy back too. Like she answers that phone like coming in hot.
I
She's
love it.
ready. Yeah.
And then Ghostface just jumps out of a tree or behind a
I love
porch or
it.
something.
I love how out in the open Ghostface is. Like, fuck it. I don't give a shit if this is New York City. Like, I'm attacking you whenever I can get the chance.
And then they run into the bodega, which is probably one of the more famous scenes in this movie because it was featured
Hmm.
so much in the trailers. Um, yeah, this Ghostface doesn't give a shit.
No,
He just
not
comes
at
right
all.
in, just stab, stab, stab. Everyone else just runs out screaming. Don't even fucking care. Stab, stab,
Yeah.
stab. Take a gun, blasting the fucking face.
Yeah. I like Ghostface with a shotgun. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, me too. I think they expected everyone to really like Ghostface with a shotgun because at the very end of the movie, right before it goes to the credits, you have like this one more shot of like him like cocking the
Uh-huh.
shotgun.
They were like,
They're
this is
like,
gonna be the new thing.
yeah, y'all are going to love this. Um,
This is also where we see a lot of Coors Light.
yeah, we see a lot of cores. Cores saves the day. Um,
Hmm.
being able to throw that can over there, that worked out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought this was pretty good. Like I said, this movie is a little more even when the kills are light, or it's not even that the kills are light, it's just the kills are generally people
Not
we
they're
don't
not the
care
main
about.
cast. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's these two dudes we've never met before, and there you go. All right, they're
Hmm.
gone and they're dead. It feels weird to count them as like capital K kills, in a slasher
Yeah.
because
I also feel bad for them because like they were both trying to be helpful. Like the guy gets mad that they like cut in line, but then he quickly realizes like, oh, this motherfucker's following them. So he stepped up real quick, not knowing the situation. And then
yeah,
the other guy just busts out his shotgun and is like, use the back door. And I'm like, these guys were really trying to help them, and they got fucking murdered real quick.
yeah. They managed to escape. Well, both Sam, Tara, and Ghostface eventually.
Hmm. The
Um,
cops show up 500 years later. I feel like the cops of New York would be a little bit faster because they feel like they're everywhere.
maybe. I don't know.
Those fucking that shotgun, that's loud. Somebody would have heard that. Their response time would have been way faster, I think.
I think the time it took someone to make the call, sure, but
Mm,
the call for them to get there, maybe I don't know.
hmm.
There's a lot of traffic in New
It
York,
felt it
Natalie.
felt long.
Have you ever been to New York?
Yeah, I have a few
Yeah,
times.
yeah, it's really hard. There's a lot of one-way streets. You can get turned around very quickly. So
Okay.
we head to the police. They're just like, all right, back to business, onto the police station. Um, which I'm like, look, if you needed us there that bad, you should have brought a cop and given us a ride
Yeah,
to begin
escort
with.
them for
Come
sure.
on.
I agree.
So you meet Detective Bailey proper,
Hmm.
who's asking like, "Hey, do you know anyone who's I don't know, maybe wanting to kill you all or might have any grudge against you, knowing that you're the dude that has the grudge, the biggest grudge, bro."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
Tara's like,
even says,
"No,
like,
no one alive."
you ever heard of Richie Kirsch? I like the cockiness of Tara and Sam in this interrogation. Like, they're just very like he's like, anybody who would want to kill you, and they're like, not that's alive. Like, that's great. They also, oh, one thing I also really like is they give like Tara gives a very suspicious look towards Sam when he says, like, well, we could rule out Quinn because I can vouch for her. And it's like, I bet every parent thinks that they can vouch for their kid not being a fucking murderer. That doesn't make her innocent.
Well, this whole movie is his motive about believing his baby boy could do no wrong,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
even if the movies were a little dark, a little colorful. Um, and then also you're like, you all need to be involved because if I was Detective Bailey, I get it. Maybe take this case because Quinn's a little adjacent to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess. I don't know if that's how detectives do that sort of thing, if they
You would
have
need a
personal.
partner at least so that you have like a less biased source, I would
Yeah.
think.
And I'm like, if my daughter was living in an apartment with two people who are either suspects in a multiple murder
Mm-hmm.
or targets, of a serial killer, I'd be like, okay, Quinn, you have to stay with me. You have to
Absolutely.
live
I
with
was
me.
on the same thing. I was like, you're going to come stay at my place. You're moving out because this is a dangerous situation. Like, yeah, if he's that overprotective, absolutely.
Like, don't get me wrong, radio silence is brought up in like a number of kind of post release interviews about this movie, how just suspend disbelief, let's not get
Yeah.
wrapped up in a lot of these details because this movie, gosh, I'd say even more so than Scream 3, really requires you to take some leaps in logic.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Even the fact, like maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, but since this is our introduction to Bailey, like,
mhm.
was he actually a cop or is he posing it? Like he would have had to actually be a cop, right?
Yeah.
Like so that is wild that like people wouldn't know who he is or that he's directly involved or like just because he moved from one city to the NYPD. Like none of that makes sense. And that's like one of the things that I'm like that I have trouble letting go of. Quinn wanting to be in the apartment, like that could just be a stubborn daughter being like, fuck that. Like I'm independent. I'm gonna live in my apartment. Um, but him being a cop is pretty hard to digest. That was a big problem for me when I first saw this movie.
And he had been collecting all of this memorabilia from these crime scenes
Yeah.
for Richie long before Richie started killing anybody in Scream
Mm-hmm.
5. So I look a lot of this, sure. Okay. We'll keep we'll keep moving. This is our
Yeah.
introduction to Kirby, who's working for the FBI based out of the Atlanta office.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who was a senior in this movie, and then also kind of helps a little bit with the timeline, thinking
Mm.
that at the time of Scream 4, Sam was a freshman.
Yeah.
So building that connection there. I know we talked about it a little bit. Definitely love to see Hayden Panettiere back. Um,
Mm-hmm.
industry legend.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, between
I
this
love her.
and Scream 4, and I fuck with that first season of Heroes, and
I've never watched it.
Until Dawn, which is a
Oh,
fantastic
yeah.
slasher video game. So much fun.
She's really cute because I think this was like her first acting job like in a while after she had had her baby or maybe two. I don't know how many children she has, but she said in an interview that she was like nervous to act. Like she was like, I felt like maybe I had forgotten how. And she was like worried about like becoming Kirby again. And I was like, oh my gosh, girl, please, you're amazing. Like, don't doubt yourself. You're doing great.
She's great. She has this good kind of like half like mouth corner smirk that she
Ah, I
has.
love it. I love
You,
her.
you know, or she's up to some shit, or she's real happy with herself.
Hmm.
I think she's great. So
Yeah.
very welcome addition. I was just worried that they were gonna kill her, but I was like, oh, don't bring her back just to kill her. That'd be terrible.
I would have been fucking furious if they killed Kirby because I like the idea of her just being able to like dip in and out of any of these movies as an FBI agent because she's useful, she's trained, she's fun because she has that like that love for scary movies. Honestly, I
Yeah.
thought that they brought her back so that they could kill Mindy. So that there's
Yeah.
like always somebody who's a movie buff, but like now you have a movie buff who's plays an older legacy character and has like a role because she's got the FBI like edge to her.
Older, whiter. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Mindy's too much. Um,
For the record, I did
so
not say that.
mm. Then we're also introduced back to Gail, who is outside
Yay.
the police station.
Love the music cue here too, because you go like back to like old school Scream like score.
Oh my gosh, she hasn't missed a step. Did you think she was ever not going to write a book? Come on.
I believed her. I did. Like in my heart of hearts, I was like, maybe Dewey dying was the actual thing that would push her to not write a book. But I
Nope.
should have known. I should have known. And you know what? Good for her. Because,
Yep.
you know, there is life after love, and she's got to get that check.
Mm,
She's got to get that check. I love that
gosh.
she dodges the punch and then gets punched anyway.
I loved that too. All
Because she
this was
looks
so
so
good.
cool. She looks so cool when she's like off to the side. That face that she gives, like,
Gail fucking Weathers. Hell fucking yeah. She's
Oh, I
so
love
cool.
her. She's in a
Ah,
colorful pantsuit again.
fucking legend. I love that
Yeah.
shit. She's like, what? Someone was gonna write it. What do you want me to do? I was just grinning ear to ear, where I was just
Uh-huh.
like, I would have been perfectly fine if she didn't write a book, but the fact that she did, even after, and then tries
After
to
all
get
that.
a and then tries to get offended when, they're like, what would Dewey think? And Gail's like, that's a low blow. And you're like, okay, Gail. You did do what you did.
Dewey knew. He knew. Remember, that was like the last thing that he said to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
at
So
least she let him be right one last time.
very true.
Maybe that's why she wrote it.
That's a stretch, but I like it.
I like it.
Um, she explains that Sydney's like, you just keep getting reminded that Mark is just exists. And I'm
Oh,
like,
why does she have to
why?
bring up Mark? I know. I said the same thing. I was like, fuck Mark. Fuck Mark.
So now we get to our next kill, which is the therapist. And
Hmm.
then, which is pretty good. It's pretty quick. I do always like a good stab through the face. And this has two good stabs through the face.
This one is good though because I like the uniqueness of it just being through that nasal passage instead of like the eye or the cheek. Like it's like I've never seen that before.
Felt crunchier.
Oh yeah, yeah, because it's got to go through like that thin bone there. Ugh.
All, all the
Yeah. Mm-mm.
cartilage and all that.
And you have to think like would it take you longer to bleed out from that stab because it's not hitting your brain necessarily
I think it
because they
got a
went
little brain.
downward.
Hmm.
I don't know. I felt pretty bad for him for that. And I liked that I don't remember what movie he's watching, but it is yelling out you're next.
It was like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So later, Henry Cerny, goodbye. Um, then we pop over to Mindy talking franchises with the group. I think you get your Nick Cave needle drop here. Always
Yeah,
welcome. I'll never get sick of that song.
never.
Um, I don't care
Here
for
we go
most of
again.
this,
Yeah.
but I do like that she nails it. She nails exactly who it is. Like where it's like it's
She
Ethan
does.
and it's you, Quinn. And yeah, your dad being a cop, it's the perfect cover up.
Yeah, she does nail it. The only thing she doesn't nail and I feel like this is every movie, like you usually bring this up, is like the formula and the rules and the
Yeah.
outcome because she's like a bigger body count and a big car chase. Like, and I'm like, okay, none of those things happen. So I appreciate Mindy's efforts, but glad she calls the killers.
I did like how just like a sweet, supportive brother. Chad's just there, just like very intently taking notes. When he
And he's
looks up,
so upset about decapitation.
he's like, beheadings, and she's like, beheadings. And of course
Yeah.
that comes back later.
Yeah.
Um, and then just this being very like, we're the survivors, y'all are either the killers or just fodder for the killers. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
And then Ethan's just like, well, what about you all? And then
Yeah.
she's like, well, we can't be the killers, of course. We survived Woodsboro. And then
I
Chad
agree
just
with her.
very oh yeah, Chad just very quickly goes, agreed. We are
Yeah.
not
With his
suspects.
pencil, little
Yeah,
pencil tap.
yeah. I don't know. It's all just feels so dramatic, even when she's just wringing her hands and she's like, oh, even you, Tara and Sam. I'm sorry. Like
Hmm.
I'm like, and also, I guess you're not supposed to care so much about these rules, right? If the only thing that Ghostface has said at this point related to movies is who gives a fuck about the movies, you know?
Mm.
So I always feel like why am I supposed to care about these rules anyway? Other than just to have
Yeah.
this fun little bit.
I also like Annika looks upset in the moment that Mindy says never trust the love interest, but I feel like she doesn't follow through on that. Like she seems okay like in the next scene that they're together and I'm like
Yeah.
I don't know, I'd be pretty fucking pissed. Like it reminds me of Liv when Chad
Yeah.
says like I'm not 100% sure you're not the killer. Like that shit would I'd be like, all right, then I'm gonna go be somewhere else if you don't trust me. for sure.
So we're back to Bailey and Kirby, who have learned that the therapist was dead. And they just go,
Hmm.
ugh, through the nose. Ugh, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
that. And then they realize that it was Roman's. Was it Roman's mask that was left behind? Or was it Jill? Or no, or was it
It would
yeah,
have,
yeah, it was Roman's mask.
yeah, because Jill or Charlie's were at the bodega,
Yeah.
right? So
Which
yeah, so they have the mask leaving behind thing, which
also doesn't really always
doesn't really mean anything. It's just kind of a thing that they're doing.
yeah, I mean, I think Kirby has to do a lot of the legwork when she's like, ah, it's someone who's invested in the legacy of the killers, and it's a countdown. What happens when it gets to one? Or it's like, and it's all leading back to Sam, and I was like, mm, does it?
Or is it leading just back to Billy? Like
Yeah.
it's because it's a countdown. I do like that on the board when they're looking through all the killers. I like Kirby's like recap of the killers too. Um, but there's that little post-it next to Stu with the question mark. So that's the second time that they've implied that Stu might still be alive.
Do you remember the marketing materials for this movie and the poster where it's the subway line that makes the Ghostface
Mm,
face,
mm-hmm.
and all of the stops were named after people who were
Yeah,
victims,
yeah.
including the killers or anyone who's died in any of
Yes,
these movies, and they're
yes.
all red except for Stu's, which is
Mm-hmm.
pink, and you
Mm-hmm.
can barely tell unless you're looking. And boy, was I looking! And
Very interesting.
so they always tease the fact that Stu might be alive without ever actually saying it, and I
Yeah.
love that.
It could just be like a little game that they're playing because Matthew Lillard is fully into it too, because he said, like, I would definitely go back to playing Stu. And I feel like him just saying that, like, it's almost like they're just having fun fucking with us.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Um, the only nice thing I'll hear them say about Roman Bridger, um, kudos for the ambition.
Yeah,
Like,
for being a
you know,
lone ghost face.
the only solo ghost face. Otherwise, come on, Roman. You just need a partner. It's not a solo job. That's why
It
you're
is
always going to be at
not
the
a solo
bottom.
job. I still think he had a partner and he just killed that partner.
Maybe. We've got our core four all having dinner. Of course, it was also brought up how in some different, interviews are like, how are they all? How'd y'all make that dinner if all the knives were gone? How does that even work? Y'all are making pasta. Y'all had to have at some point
That is a really good point. A really, really good point.
because it's
I,
pointed like a knife.
yep.
Yep. So they're all making up. They're like, hey, look, we're in this together. Look, we're a team. We're a family. I love it. I think the core four shit's kind of cute. I like it.
I love it. I think Chad is so adorable and his like character feels like not fully realized, but it feels like he's grown a lot from the first movie. So you still have that like immature young guy feeling where he's like still got that like toxic masculinity behavior to him, but at the same time, like he's sweet and understanding and supportive and all of those things. So he's like transitioning or like becoming like a good man, like slowly because he's young and dumb. But I like the whole dynamic between the four of them. And what I like a lot about this movie is the time that you get with them. Like, there's a lot of time in between those kills because it's a long fucking movie. But like, I love the amount of time we get to spend with them. And that's why I still feel like there was a wasted opportunity to not kill someone because it would have like broke your heart a little bit more because they're all so fun together. Like, they play off of each other really well.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to see one of those twins get
Hmm.
killed.
It
Yeah.
needed to be Mindy. It couldn't be Chad. We can't kill him.
So you've got Danny, who we've established earlier in the movie, not in the episode, but in the movie, that they can kind of see each other across the
Yeah.
window. They're right across the alley, and he's looking into Quinn's bedroom, um, weirdo, and
He
sees
was
Ghostface.
glancing that way. He was not being a creep.
I know,
God.
I know, I know. So he sees Ghostface go in and kill maybe Tim Robinson. whoever else. I don't know. You don't get a good look at the body that's all cut up and put up in the bathtub
Mm-mm.
there. But
No.
yeah, then Mindy just going, "Oh shit, he's dead. Oh fuck,
Yeah.
he's dead."
Another random person that gets murdered that isn't
Off
part of
screen.
like the actual cast. Yeah, and off screen. I have a lot of questions about this scene with
Yeah.
Quinn. So, couple things here.
Okay.
Is she actually talking to her dad on the phone? Is my first question. And
Mm,
are they having a real conversation or a pretend conversation? Like she's like saying like, "Yeah, but you're the police." And I don't know, she's just really paranoid. So like she could be having like a ghost face related conversation.
mhm.
But that would be weird because the boyfriend is there, but she also knows that Ethan is there to kill the boyfriend. So anything he hears doesn't really matter. Like the whole situation's just weird. And if Ethan was in the room, why wouldn't they be like addressing each other? Like, what is this like a whole scene they're playing out? It feels very messy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it just feels strange.
Yeah. So Danny's like, I got no time for this. Let me airdrop y'all um photos of Ghostface.
I love
And
that.
then
That's I don't know a lot about technology, but I know that's not how that shit works.
airdropping, yeah, maybe.
No, you have okay. You have to have it set that anyone can airdrop you instead of just people who are in your contacts.
So yeah, that's actually a good point because I'm thinking if you just opened it up to being airdropped from anybody,
It'd be a
uh,
dick.
it'd be
You
it'd be
know
a
it would be a
dick.
dick.
I'm thinking chat is
we
it it's the new chat roulette. I mean,
we've talked about this many times. Any opportunity that a man has, they will
oh
fucking send you their dick. So
my
that's
gosh,
what
yeah,
would
they
pop
will.
up on your phone if everybody could just airdrop things all the time.
It'd be
Dicks.
fun. Yeah, it'd be funny. The first airdrop is like, oh, it's a dick. Or I keep getting dicks. I have to scroll through 60 of these dick pics before I can get to the pic of Ghostface.
Ah, there it is.
There, there it is. Is that what I'm supposed to be worried about? Um, so you think Quinn is dead. Ghostface throws her out. And then I don't know how fucking Annika is able to make it even out of that room
Oh
because
my
he
God.
fucking puts the knife in her
Oof.
stomach, twists
Oh.
it, and then goes up
Oh. Oh.
like
Her insides are so fucked. I feel like even if she made it across the ladder, she was fucked.
how are her insides not falling out all over that ladder and onto the alley below?
Right?
That's wild. Um,
I love the apartment attack scene though. Like I like them all running separate ways and trying to figure out how the fuck they're gonna get out of there.
yeah, I think it makes sense to separate them. I think
Mm-hmm.
Tara and Chad go one way, the others go another, just because I feel like just be way too many people running through too small a
Mm-hmm.
space. Um, yeah, fuck. And then yeah, this ladder scene, which is probably the best death of the movie.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely. And
Ugh,
it's nice and suspenseful, like this whole ladder situation. Nobody would want to do that.
yeah,
Like, but you'd have to. Yeah, her death is the best. The only thing that I take issue with is you should have sent the most injured person first
yeah.
because she's going to be the slowest and she can put up the least amount of a fight. It should have been Annika, Mindy, and then Sam because we know Sam can kick some ass. So she should have gone last.
Sam goes first, doesn't she?
He goes first. And honestly, it's because her fucking boyfriend's on the other side of the ladder. He was like, nope, nope, you first. You
Yeah.
first.
If
That would have
y'all
done the same
fall,
thing. I would have been like, no, no, get to the back of the line, y'all. My
uh,
girlfriend is coming first.
but gosh, it's so sad when fucking Annika's on that ladder and
Oh,
everyone's crying, and you see
she hits her
Ghostface.
head.
Oh yeah, I see Ghostface get into the room in the
Mm.
background and then start shaking the ladder. But yeah, oh, you didn't because you weren't expecting that quick like hit head on the side of the
I
fucking thing.
I
Whew.
love shit like that so much. I can't think of any other examples of when something like that's happened, but anytime somebody's falling and they hit something else on their way down, that is a perfect situation. And they give a good shot of like her busted ass face. Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
so good. Yeah, Annika gets it pretty rough.
Well, so now we think Quinn is dead, and Anik is definitely 100% dead. You can't fake
Jeez.
that. You
Yeah.
can't swap out that body.
No.
Um, they reconvene. Ethan shows up. He's like, "I was at econ," and they were like, "The fuck you were. Get the fuck out of here, dude."
Yeah.
Everyone skips econ. Get the fuck out.
I do think it's very suspicious how nice Bailey is being to them because I feel like if I was in that situation, I'd be like, this is all your fucking fault because your shit followed my daughter into this situation. Even if it's not logical, like there would
Yeah.
be an anger there. And he's like pointing his anger towards I mean, really, he's saying it to them, but it's just very suspicious how like kind he's being to them and how much he wants to help them. Like, I'd be like, no, fuck y'all.
Spoiler alert, Detective Bailey is one of three ghost faces. Quinn is a ghost face, and
Mm-hmm.
Ethan is a ghost face. They're all Richie's
Mm-hmm.
family. Um, so he explains later that, oh, because I'm a cop, I could get in early and then swap out her body for a fresh one. Um, what body did he use? And then also,
Obviously, he killed someone else.
I guess so. I guess then another off-screen kill, sure. But
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how many bodies are you just having there in case? But I don't know. That
And
whole
he, yeah,
thing is
and the
pretty
whole
dumb.
like, you have no idea, or like, it's amazing what a grieving father like can, like they'll let you get away with. He says, um,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like the type of situation where like who's like does he identify the body? Like is that what they use? Like so he's like, yeah, that's her. Where was that body? It had to have been in the apartment already.
Yeah,
Like was it also in the refrigerator with Greg? Like where, where was that body?
I know. Again, hey, you're just gonna have to take that leap there and just assume he figured it out somehow.
Yeah, it's a lot of leaping. As we're talking through it, because like I had such a good time watching this movie and I'm having a lot of fun talking about it. But as we're talking through it, I'm like, damn, there is a lot to forgive here.
Yeah. So Gail Weathers shows up and she's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I've been doing some fucking detective work as I do. I'm also a morning show host, but then also still investigative reporter. I love that shit.
Hmm.
Um, let me show y'all something." And then Kirby shows up. She's like, "Okay, yeah, I'm fucking on board. Let's go."
Yeah.
And they have their quick little, we brought that up, their quips back and forth. Love that introduction to each other because I was like, oh, I guess
Hmm.
they haven't seen each other in
Yeah.
12 years at this point.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting.
Hmm.
Um, I love how Kirby's like, I ran all the, background checks on them, ran all the financial reports, all the bank accounts, and this and this and this. How did you find this? And I didn't. And I'm just like, she's Gail fucking Weathers, dude. Like,
Yeah. She, if there's something to be found, she's gonna find it. I also like that Bailey gives her credit for finding it too, like later in the movie, because he's like, damn, like I was gonna like reveal this as like, oh, like these guys had this whole shrine. He's like, but Gail Weathers, she's damn good journalist.
yeah, she found it way earlier than I
Yeah.
anticipated. Oh my God. And then who cares how she found it, how that
Who
even works?
cares?
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Let her get this dub. I love it.
Hmm.
So they make their way into this theater that they think at the time is owned secretly by Jason and Greg. Um, when this is pretty dumb, but this whole thing. But I remember this is after if they overserved me a few too many IPAs at this movie theater. I just remember sitting in this movie theater with you and turning to you, also to my wife, and just whispering to the both of you, I think this is the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life.
You did.
When they show this theater and like all of the mementos from all the movies and you're going through and I'm like, this is so convoluted, this is so dumb, none of this makes sense, but fuck, I love to
Yeah.
see all of this again. And
Yeah.
also because Scream movies have an issue with, I'm okay with like the meta referential, back to the original movies and all of this, but I feel like they only reference the first one all the time. It's always about that night in
Or
Woodsboro at
stab.
Stu's house. Yeah. So being able to see the melted fax machine, even though as much shit as
Hmm.
I talk on Scream 3, or
Yeah.
seeing you know, Kenny's top story, jacket.
Hmm.
Ooh, I'd love one of those jackets.
Yeah, that'd be pretty fucking dope. Okay, what I think works really well for this is it's like clearly fan service to show us all of these things, but at the same time, like us fanning over it is the same as like Richie having this collection of all these things. Like you even said, you're like, damn, I wish I had that top story jacket. Like that's such a good example of like why it would be there and like how Richie like would be like excited to like collect all these things. Like that's super fun.
So everyone's exploring, Mindy and Chad are seeing like, oh damn, this shit belonged to Uncle Randy. They got his little his shirt from the movie rental store and this and
Mhm.
this and this. Sam, on the other hand, gets a visitor here. And hey, we got Billy back. What do you think about him coming back this time?
I still am not a
Via,
fan. Um, Again, love to see our boy Skeet. The de-aging looks worse somehow 2 years later. Like I
yeah.
know he's 2 years older, but like, why is the technology worse? And it just it feels really forced in this one, whereas in the last one it didn't feel forced, it just felt dumb to me. But again, still I'm still not a fan of the hallucinations. I know you were probably super into it.
I was, and I am. I like at least at this time, he only shows up in the reflection of like where his costume and knife was. Like that's the
Yeah,
only time she can see him is there.
makes him feel more
Um,
ghostly.
yes.
Yeah.
But he's a little more unhinged, I feel like, than he was last time around. He's like very
Hmm.
like he's like super animated. He's like, fuck yes. Hell yeah. Grab
Let's
that
kill
knife.
some more motherfuckers.
Let's go slice some motherfuckers. Let's
Yeah.
fucking do
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, okay, I like this energy. I'm digging this. Um everybody the rest all get their, kind of cute little moments together. Sam and Tara so having their conversations. Tara takes off and, you know, Kirby follows and then has her whole thing about like, I don't want to be afraid of monsters anymore. You've got Gail who
Hmm.
is just talking about like, hey, how do you build your family and how do you, stick with the ones you love and how do you move on?
uh,
I
when they
know.
play the Dewey theme, when oh, it
Love
like
it.
it gets me choked up every time. Can't take it.
I know. That's perfect. Um I like how just the delivery was so bad, but it worked because I'm talking about Dermot Mulroney, sorry. His one
Mm.
line during all of this, it's so stilted and so awkward, but it's like, oh, because he's the killer. When he
Hmm.
just goes, you've all been through so much.
Yeah.
You've all
Yeah,
suffered so much.
he does deliver that line weird. Yeah.
Then you have the scene with Kirby and Mindy, which I
Oh, I
think,
love it.
yeah. Do you want to play this game real quick?
Oh, are we going to?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So, okay, you ready? I'm just gonna give you like no prep for this.
Okay.
All right, best nightmare. Three,
The
two,
original. Oh.
one, four. All right. I said four. I love it.
I said, yeah, yeah. I'm not surprised. Okay.
Okay. I'm
I'll
gonna
I'll
give us a
wait for you to count down this time. I know I wasn't expecting the countdown.
I love it. It's Friday the 13th. Three, two, one. Jason lives. You didn't
I
do it. You
wasn't ready for that one.
hesitated.
It's part four for me.
Part four. That's okay. That's my second one. Psycho 2 is fine.
It's fine. It's not
Yeah.
better than the original.
Candyman, original or requel? Three, two,
Original.
one. You were just not letting me do this fucking at all. I'm not even gonna edit this to show how you can't follow fucking rules. That's
I don't
okay.
feel like I was given rules. Wait, what was your answer for Candyman?
Original. We
Okay,
agreed.
okay, okay. We agree.
So I'll be honest with you. Every plan they have to like catch Ghostface,
So bad.
so bad. This first one taking place at the park, and I don't understand how anybody, even both the victims or the people who are secretly ghost faces, I don't know how this plan's working out for any of them.
I love that you said that because I just wrote down, what is the park plan supposed to do? I don't even know what it's intended to do.
Literally, I think it's supposed to separate them from Gale to kill Gale.
Well, no, like from their end, like what is like Kirby and Sam and the group's intention to find Ghostface's location? They're
Yes.
assuming that like Ghostface is always calling from nearby.
Yeah.
That's a big assumption,
A lot of big assumptions.
especially
And
because we know there's usually two, at least.
yeah, I would have brought that up. Like the odds are, but I mean, at least you'd get to catch one, so, something.
That's true.
If they wanted to kill Gale, why use one of those phones or why use Quinn's phone to even call Sam and Tara? Why, like, or at least why just kill Gale then call? Like, because all you did was just say, "Oh, I'm at Gale's house, so they're going to go and find Gale and then probably rescue Gale." So there's no, I just don't understand the purpose of doing this.
That's a very good point. And the only reason I could think would be to ruffle their feathers and be that maybe you're cocky enough that you think you're going to kill her in time, that they like show up right after.
Yeah, this shit makes no sense to me. So they realize they're calling from the other side of town, up West 96th. That's at Gail's place. I don't know if it was called what if it was she happened to live on 96th Street just because Scream came out in 96.
Oh,
I don't
that's
know.
cute.
It's probably more of a number 23 situation.
And it
Remember
was
that
on the
movie?
West Coast.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It is like the number 23.
I've only seen that movie once. I don't really remember any of it.
If it counts as a horror movie, maybe.
Maybe.
No, maybe not.
It might be
Um,
more of a thriller.
so we pop over to Gail's apartment. She's doing well for herself. Man, that poor actor who plays this unnamed boyfriend, they can't even show his face. It's just like shadowed over. That poor guy.
Barely. They show his face for like 2 seconds.
I
I
don't think they even
love
do they?
when he nods, like she says, call the police, and he like nods back. I think that's like the only clear shot you get of his face.
Hmm.
But I love that she has the boyfriend. And I love her reaction to the boyfriend dying when he says all those muscles didn't help. And she says, they sure didn't. I feel like that works two ways. I feel like she's saying it didn't save his life and it also didn't help her with like grieving and missing Dewey. That's my interpretation of that. Like she's like, yeah, they didn't help.
Did you think they were gonna kill her off here?
Like I did feel a little bit worried, but I honestly wasn't sure. But I thought it would have been a really bad idea to do it. One, because I fucking love Gale. Two, because we just killed Dewey in the last movie, so we didn't need that big kill. So I was concerned though. I thought they might make a bad decision.
Yeah, I was a little concerned, but at the same time, I was like, they're not going to kill her. I was telling myself angrily, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Kill Sydney before Gale. Come on.
Yeah, I agree. I actually agree with that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
don't kill Sydney, but
Don't.
also,
But if I had to pick, I would pick Gale.
that's why I
Still
thought
would.
they would be bringing Herbie back as just to kill her off. So you still like kind of like, okay, you get your legacy kill, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever, whatever. So I
Yeah.
I get it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought this was a pretty fun scene. I mean, when Ghostface is like, "Oh, Gale, it's been long overdue," and I'm like, Ghostface, there's like 10 of you fuckers. Like
Yeah, you're not the one.
you're not, you don't have history with me. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Now if she was also getting like visions of like Mrs. Loomis, that'd be pretty fun.
That'd be great.
They get really close. They make you think they're gonna kill her, but they don't, which is good. And she's
Mhm.
like, "Hey." Well, I mean, I don't know if Sam has Sid's phone number. I don't think so, but she's just like, "Hey, you tell Sid you didn't get shit."
Yeah, I like that. What
Mhm,
I don't like is Sam gets a hold of this gun and she tries to shoot at Ghostface. Like I think it's she takes 3 shots.
mhm.
If this that couldn't have been like a situation I was in, because if I had what happened to Sam happen to me, the first thing I would have done was gone out, got myself a gun, and learned how to use it. Like really learned how to use it. Like I'd be taking headshots and not missing. Like it'd be fucking Mission Impossible and
Yeah,
self-defense. Like I would be so paranoid. I would want to be prepared for any situation. Like that would be the only situation in which I would own a gun, is if I was once attacked by Ghostface. That's it.
that's fair.
Yeah. So I was disappointed that she misses.
Get a couple missed shots out of the way. And then they're like, don't even worry. We're gonna come up with a better plan. Clearly, the park plan, that was
I
just too
know.
much daylight, too many factors. How do we make this more cramped and make us more trapped in this situation?
Yeah.
Um, I do like Danny shows up when they're at the hospital, kind of convening after Gail was attacked, and they're
Mhm.
like, and he was like, I got here as fast as we could, and Tara's like, did you?
Yeah. I love that she says that.
I do like Tara in this movie because she's a little more like kind of mean and snappy and accusatory,
Hmm.
earlier when she's like, sorry I hit you, Gail. And Gail's like, no, you're not. She's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I like all of this.
I like that too.
Um, so then like now Tara comes up with this plan, right? This 19-year-old girl and calls this detective and says, here's what we're gonna do. Here's our
Yeah.
plan. I'm gonna get the police, I'm gonna get FBI in on this. We're going to head back to this theater that we just found out existed
Uh-huh.
under the assumption that the current Ghostface does not know about this, even though, if anything, we know our Ghostface is part of our immediate group. They're around somewhere. So they've learned all these things.
And our ghost face also killed the other ghost faces that you think were the ones that had like were that like was in their name, that theater. So really a lot of flaws happening here.
They assume he's only going to enter in through this elevator. I'm like, there's
Mhm.
probably some stairs involved. Who knows? Or a
Mhm.
back door. You never know. And everyone jumps on board very quickly. They're just like, oh man, everyone's like pretty tormented. Mindy and Chad are both like, I don't want to get hurt again, and this and this and this and this. And then Tara's like, well, I've got this idea. And they're like, all right, let's do it.
Let's do it. And
A kill box?
Bailey
Okay.
Bailey, of course, suspiciously agrees, because what are the odds of that? But what I believe less is that Kirby would be on board for this plan. Like, would we not be losing jobs here? Like, she'd be at least fucking suspended. Like, at the least, I feel like she would be fired. There's no way. I'd be like, absolutely not. We're not putting a bunch of people in danger.
To be fair, she can say, hey, at least nobody died, because outside of the killers, nobody dies for the
That's
rest of this movie.
true. Yeah, no, that's a
So
bummer.
Annika is the last victim death in the movie,
Yeah. Which is crazy because there's so much violence to be had in this theater. And
right?
it's only your killers that die.
And we're not even there yet. We got to take the subway to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So we pop over to the subway scene, which is also featured pretty predominantly in the trailer. I
Yeah.
didn't think Mindy was going to die necessarily because it was featured so predominantly in the
Mm-hmm.
trailer, like with her, but I kind of wish she would have. I think that
I
this would
do
have been
too.
more effective that way, but I do think ultimately the subway scene is cool, even though I'm just like, clearly being in public has not helped anybody. So when Bailey's
No.
like, "Oh, be around people in public, you'll be safer." It's like, "Okay, I was at that bodega. No, I wasn't. Now I'd just
Mm-hmm.
be trapped inside a subway." I'm like, "Look, this is
With
where
a
I would
bunch of
just
people in Halloween costumes.
yeah, I would say and you get some fun ones, you get
Yeah, you
Michael
do.
Myers, Freddy,
Yeah.
Chucky, you get the bride from Ready or Not.
Uh-huh.
Few people, it's pretty fun. I think the kid from Trick or Treat pops
Pit
around at some point.
Pinhead's in there. The Shining
Mhm.
Twins.
I'm always seeing someone new each time.
Mm-hmm.
This time it was
Me too.
Chucky. I didn't see the Chucky last time.
Ah.
So yeah, just take a cab this time or take an Uber. At least like I
Well,
like
clearly there the public travel part of it was also the plan, because if they took an Uber or a Lyft or a taxi or a limousine or a party bus, any of that shit, they would not have been able to stab Mindy. So, like, clearly the subway was not the way to go. And why were we not like all holding hands in the busy subway station? Hold fucking hands so that you don't lose each other. It's like it's not rocket science. Like I'm a mom. If I'm in a crowded place and I know there's a chance I'm going to lose track of who I'm with, I'm holding my child's hand and he safely goes with me. Hold hands. And then why did we not get off at the next stop to like meet?
That is what you do. You get off on the next stop,
Yeah.
you wait for the next person, but at least they knew
Yeah.
where they were headed. I remember once when I was in New York with my three brothers and we were taking the subway around and
That sounds swell.
uh, we did lose our youngest brother
Oh
briefly.
no.
I know it was so sad, but I remember being the funniest thing too, because we all realized we're off the stop. We turn around, we go, "Where's Ryan, my
You
youngest
didn't
brother?"
realize he was gone.
Didn't realize he was gone. And we look over and we just see him in the window of the subway. And he just like puts his hand up and then the subway just shoots off. Just shoots off. It was so funny. And we were able to find him eventually. But look, all I'm saying, and it wasn't even nearly as crowded as it was on a Halloween night when they were all doing this. So,
And that's why y'all should have been holding hands.
or take an Uber, or take
Or
a party
that.
Hummer.
Yeah. It's like a party bus.
But yeah, all of our spooky heroes on one train. I like that.
Hmm.
With the our whole cast of characters.
Hmm.
Um, it's still one thing I struggle with these movies. Like I know that Stab is a series, a fictional series within
Hmm.
these movies, and feature the Ghostface costume and all of this. But I'm just thinking, gosh, with all of the dead people in the real life of this movie,
Yeah.
across all these entries, it was pretty tasteless in Scream 2 for people to be wearing Ghostface costumes
Hmm.
in jest or for Halloween or whatever the fuck.
And in Scream 4, for them to have the movie poster up at Cinema Club in the high school where everybody was murdered.
That's pretty bad. Yeah. Or the poster in the college classroom
Yeah.
where fucking these kids went.
Or they're
And
making
I'm like,
jokes about the two
so,
murdered college students.
so I get that, like, yeah, you have multiple people in ghost face masks, and that's how, he can kind of hide in plain sight. Um,
Hmm.
or she in plain sight, because this is still
This is
Quinn. A lot of
Quinn.
these, yeah, Quinn's doing a lot of the work after this.
Hmm.
Um, while Ethan just kind of bumbles around like an asshole. But yeah, I'm
Hmm.
just like, it feels pretty tasteless. If I knew somebody that was wearing like a Ghostface costume to Halloween, I'd be like, I don't know, man. You seem like I don't want to fuck with you, you know?
Maybe this isn't the year. Like,
Yeah, dude. I don't think any of these are the fucking year. I'm just thinking like who shows up like dressed as like I mean, I'm sure there's people that dress up as Jeffrey Dahmer and shit for
hmm.
Halloween, but I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Like when it's like real people killing people, you're like, get the fuck
Hmm.
out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to stick with movie killers. Um, what I find really fun about this, so like Mindy, like clearly fucking has her eyes locked on Ethan. Like she is very convinced that he is Ghostface. And when I first saw this movie and this whole subway scene plays out, I was like, damn, if Ethan isn't Ghostface, I feel so fucking sorry for him because she is so mean to him.
Get your Ghostface ass away from me, fucking Ghostface.
Yeah, like can you imagine like if he was innocent this whole time, that actually probably would have been funnier because Mindy's just treating him like shit the whole time, but he deserved it.
Or if you find out that it's not him and she still doesn't trust him afterwards, she's like, I'm not
Yeah,
convinced yet.
yeah, he could have gotten away with it. And the other thing about this subway kill, even like the girl next to her is like asleep when she gets stabbed. I just don't believe that no one on this subway would have noticed her getting stabbed except for Ethan.
Clearly, you've never watched Law and Order before. That
I
shit
haven't.
happens all the time.
Really?
Believe me, Mariska Hargitay's running into that shit all the time. People being sexually assaulted on subways and shit with nobody noticing.
Gosh. People, look up. Like, look up and around. Get your face
Yeah,
out of your fucking phone when you're on public trans. Like,
100%.
little known fact. No, I think most people know this about me. I do not take public transportation anywhere. Absolutely not. Never, never do. I don't do it.
Terrible.
Um, I know, but I'm so paranoid. The few times that I have been like on public trans, it's always with other people as they force me to do it. And I'm looking up the entire time and around. Like I am memorizing every single fucking face that is around me. I can't help it. Yeah, the weird irrational fear, but I feel like somebody in there has to be like me, where they're like nervous and like just looking around.
Interesting take. I'm in full support of public transportation,
I'm not
and
against public transportation. Just because I'm terrified of public transportation doesn't mean that I don't think people should take public transportation. It's
yeah.
an anxiety thing.
Remember that one time years ago, that story about the dude on that Greyhound bus? Yeah, they were taking a Greyhound bus like in the middle of the night, and then you're just sitting next to some random person, but the random person gets up and then fucking takes out a knife and just starts stabbing the shit out of you. And then
What?
everyone runs off this bus, right? And this is a true story. Everyone runs off this bus and everyone's like horrified, right? Because this dude was just stabbed the shit out of, right? They're watching in horror and people are probably calling the police at this
Oh
point.
my gosh.
Um, the dude uses the knife to cut this person's fucking head off and just starts walking up and down the Greyhound bus, holding the dude's head that he killed. Yeah. So
Okay,
I
first
hear
of all,
you.
when was this? And also, how is that supposed to make me feel better about public transportation, Kyle?
Number one, how am I supposed to know any of that? You know, I reference things all the time without details.
No, no details at all.
So, but that's different. So, okay,
Okay.
so we make so, but hey, look, they make it safe. The rest of the team,
Yeah,
1 out of 6 ain't bad. I think is the Meatloaf song that works out.
sure.
So they make it to the theater. Kirby catches up with them. They're about to go in. I do like how Sam turns to Danny and says, "Sorry, bro,
Hmm.
you're not Woodsboro. You're not Woods. You're not a Woodsboro, bro." And Danny's like, "Okay, I get it."
Yeah, that's
See you later.
great.
I'm gonna go to the fucking diner. If y'all want to fucking handle this, go for it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be supportive.
Yeah, I'm glad he's supportive of the situation. He did say earlier, don't trust me, don't trust anyone,
Yeah.
which begs the question, why the fuck is Ethan with them even?
Yeah, I wouldn't be bringing Ethan around. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Mm-mm.
So they get to the theater here. And I don't know why the fuck they thought this plan would fucking work because it immediately doesn't.
Well, do we think that one of the like it wasn't a great plan to begin with, but I really feel like it would have gone a little better had they not immediately split up. Everyone
Yeah.
goes a different way. Just stay in one room, all of you together. If Ghostface shows up, tackle him.
You got Billy back. He's telling Sam, like, yeah, you need to scope this fucking place. Take my
Mhm.
fucking dirty ass coagulated knife, and it's my favorite one. And then let's fucking go for it. You go clear the room. At this point, you have some more very bad flirting
Mhm.
between Chad and Jenna Ortega here, Tara.
Mhm.
Um, and then I forgot to reference this again originally, but when Chad and Tara are about to kiss, and then Quinn pops back in the room, right? And there's that whole like cock block scene, like, oh,
Mm.
you cock blocked me, like, oh, stop saying cock, stop saying that word,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. Quinn goes ahead and cock blocks him again, this time in Ghostface
Yeah.
costume.
You're right. Oh my gosh, yes. Good for
So,
her.
in theme with Quinn, I'm going to assume it's Quinn here because I think it's
I like
funnier
that.
to have her
Yeah.
cock block them again. Just while they're kissing, just runs up and stabs right in the back.
I
You're like, fuck you.
know. That's brutal.
And then you also have Bailey who is calling them and saying, hey, he was already not trusting Kirby earlier, but really he's fuck
Yeah.
him. He's a ghost face killer.
Yeah.
Um, he's like, hey, she's gone mad. They
Hmm.
fired her months ago. Blah 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 blah. She was unstable. I never believed for a second Kirby was the killer.
Absolutely not. I didn't either. And I'm kind of disappointed that Sam would just completely trust that narrative from Bailey because she knows both of them probably equally, and
He's
they're
not
both
Woodsboro.
cops. Yeah, he's not Woodsboro either. So, like, if anything, Kirby is closer to that situation and she knows her from the past. So, yeah, that feels it's a little whack that you believe him.
So you got the Ghostface attack. They're chasing Chad, Sam, and Tara through the theater. They kind
Mm-hmm.
of do basically essentially a big circle because they end up back in the lobby,
Mm-hmm.
where Chad and Tara were kissing up a little bit, then eating some rotten milk duds or whatever the fuck they were
I
doing.
hope neither of them would have eaten those.
He's like, "I'll do it. I'll do it. You want me to do it?" And he starts getting really intense about it. You know, I'd be like, "All right, do it. I guess if you want." It's weird.
Yeah,
Just
if someone challenged themselves, I'd be like, okay, I'll watch.
yeah. So, um, this is when you find out there's at least two Ghostface killers because Chad, Chad and all them get some good punches and kicks on this, and Chad's
Mm-hmm.
about to fucking put the final blow. And I knew in that half second he's like about to put the final blow on a Ghostface. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that
this
pause.
isn't gonna work. Yeah. He gets
Yeah.
stabbed. This is a cool scene. Watching both of them stab him the fuck up.
Because this is the first time you ever see two ghost faces in costume on screen. We don't know who they are. And he gets stabbed 9 times. His
Was
ass
it
should have been
only
dead.
9?
It was only nine. I counted twice.
Oh my God, it
I
felt like
went by the
30.
sounds. I went by the sounds and like motions, like whichever I could go for, and it was nine.
Good for you,
Yeah.
because God, it may as well have been 30. It felt
It
like it.
looked like 30, right? Because they're just like back and forth,
Oh,
but it's shorter than it appears because they do that close up of his face and everything. And I was still counting like the gush swoosh sound.
good on you. Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, you're welcome. He should have been dead, but I didn't want Chad to die. So
Again, kind of taking that Dewey role where, like, just like the last movie, you can stab the fuck up, and then just at the end of the
yeah.
movie, you just end up on a stroller being like, oh, hey, he's good. Don't
Yeah.
even worry. Or stretcher, not a stroller.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that you said it wrong.
So they're like, let's get the fuck out of here. So you just got
Mhm.
Sam and Tara left at this point. Or actually, Kirby's been
And
knocked
Kirby.
out. Kirby does pop up. There's this back and
Hmm.
forth between her and Quinn. Sorry, not her and Quinn. Sorry, her and Bailey. Dang, dude. And then he shoots her. So you think Kirby might be dead you
Shoots
for
her
a little
like
bit.
3 times.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
but you can't fucking put her down.
Mm-mm.
So you get your first reveal, which is Bailey.
Hmm.
Of course, it's me.
I love that he says, "Of course, it's me."
I love his whole performance at the end here. It's very kitschy. It's
Yeah.
very it has a dramatic flair to it. I love this unhinges the way he just kind of like laughs in the background. You know,
I
it's
like his
so Scooby Doo.
I like his performance here, and I feel like he got a little bit of shit for it, but I think he's super fun, and I think he was trying his best to give Mrs. Loomis vibes.
A little
Um,
bit.
yeah, but I think he seems like he's having a good time with it.
Pretty shortly on, you have the two ghost faces come up behind him. You have one reveal where it's Ethan, and everyone's like, okay,
Yeah,
it's Ethan.
fucking Ghostface, get out of here.
Yeah, doing his fucking incel bullshit. You're like, okay,
Uh-huh.
Charlie, we've seen it already. Get the
Yep,
fuck out of
yep.
here.
There's always one of
Yeah, it ain't that the truth, isn't
you.
it?
Yeah,
Oh my God. Say it
literally.
again. Say it again from the rooftops. Um, and then you have your last reveal where for a second Sam thinks it's Mindy, which I'm like, oh my
I
God.
do not like that at all. If I were Tara, I'd be like, you know what my fucking sister said back at the theater?
That's what I was gonna say. Nobody tell Mindy.
Like, that is unforgivable.
Yeah, she just volunteered that out loud, Mindy. I'm like, I don't know, could have
Yeah.
been fucking a lot of
Can you
people.
imagine? Like, you're just standing there with a masked ghost face and two other people, and you're like, Natalie? I never would I forgive you. Ever. Ever.
Maybe you might be the kid. Look, here's the thing. If we were in a Scream situation, don't get mad. I don't think either of us could get mad if either of us accused the other, or at least suspected for a minute. And then we would be
I
like, why didn't you let me in?
if you suspect for a minute though, you don't say that shit out loud. You
No,
don't say it out loud. You can have it internally, but you're not going to say it out loud. So even if I did suspect you for a minute, I would have been like, "Oh, that's definitely Kyle under that mask."
I did like how this Ghostface, maybe you could maybe hinted it that it was, you could see that it maybe had a feminine flair to it, just the way it did its like kind of really sultry kind of neck movement situation.
Right.
And then
Snake-like.
the reveal that it's Quinn. Twist.
Yeah, so this is the second time that we've had a death fake out for our ghost face, and I get that
Yeah.
it makes it convenient for you to run around and be unseen and all those things, and it tricks the audience, but also it feels a little lazy. And we have three fucking killers. Y'all
Yeah.
couldn't find time to branch off and kill without having a death fake out. That feels wild to me. At least for Roman, if he was the only one, it made sense that he would need to like be able to move around freely just as Ghostface from room to room. So this fake out was not a win for me, and the only reason why I forgive it is because I love Quinn as a character before being revealed as a Ghostface killer, although she is pretty crazy,
A
which I
bit.
like too. But yeah, it's kind of a downer.
And it's a very stretched out motive explanation here because it takes them a long time to really get to the point where
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're Richie's family. It's like
yeah,
I would have like, the whole like, oh, we need to assassinate your character. Who do you think's the one that started the rumors? And then it turns
yeah.
to Quinn. She's like, it was me. I started the internet rumors. It all came from me. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't
Just you,
know.
what, as one person?
But I mean, I'm ultimately like, at least I'm fine with the idea that it's just Richie's family just getting good old fashioned revenge.
Yeah,
That's okay.
I'm fine with that. Very Scream 2.
Though how they did it doesn't make, again, just the details make no sense.
No.
Whereas, like, I guess I don't know why it was easier for me to accept, you know, like a little plastic surgery and some weight loss here, and I never interact with Sydney directly. Okay, then yeah,
That's
yeah,
believable.
yeah. The only person that would have seen her prior to recognize her was Gail, who
Hmm.
admittedly was like, I don't remember who the fuck I see
Yeah.
from place
Yeah.
to place.
I
Is for
agree.
being an investigative journalist, she is not one for details, and that's
No.
okay. Doesn't need them. Who cares? So, but again, I like this, when like Quinn's giving her whole thing and you just have the other two just like chuckling to themselves, like bobbing their heads in the background. Again, it's also very like Scooby-Doo villain reveal. So,
Yeah, it feels very meh. Like I
mhm,
remember I was having such a good time watching this movie, and this was like a dip for me when we're like meeting them, and like it took so long to, like you said, to get to the fact that they're Richie's family. And it ends up picking back up, I think. But
mhm,
this specific part here where they're revealed is kind of a downer. And then, but one thing that I do like about it is this like this wild idea. Maybe it's not, I have never looked into this, but like they're very much implying that like being a serial killer is like a genetic trait, and Richie's family like being all killers and him being a killer, like, and your grandma was a killer and your dad was a killer, like, and you're a killer. I'm like, dang, they're really leaning into this. Um, just kind of it's a weird conversation to open up.
a little bit. Yeah. When Ethan's like holding up the mask, it's like, this was your grandmother's.
Yeah.
Remember? Nancy Loomis. And it's like, yeah, I know what my fucking grandmother is. I You don't have to remind me what happened in Scream 2. I know.
Yeah.
I know it's mostly for the audience still, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, this whole idea of serial killing running in the family, whether it's on Richie's side or her side, and
Yeah, because it's
then
both.
she says, I'm not a killer like my dad, but I'm also gonna stab you through the fucking eye and the face. And
Uh-huh.
so you're kind of like with the encouragement of Tara being like, yeah, go fucking kill the shit out of him.
Yeah,
Sam
absolutely.
Tara is 100% on board. She's like, look, I know
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
like blood related to Loomis, but I'm related to you, so I'm feeling some killer vibes. I feel like
And they
Tara's like,
like revenge.
oh, the look on Tara's eyes when they're doing their trust fall at the end. Um, when Tara's like, "Let me go," and then you have this just this dark look in her eyes, like she's like, "Trust me, I'm gonna fuck this fucker up,"
Yeah, it's just like I'm gonna fuck him up.
and
I
she
love all the
does.
the violence that happens to all three killers.
Yeah, me too. Oh yeah, I love like all of like fucking Quinn's like broken teeth. I love whole mouth stuff.
A lot of mouth
Fucking
stuff. Yeah.
Ethan getting stabbed right through the fucking mouth.
I made
Um,
I made a note of what happens to all of them. Quinn gets hit in the face with a brick, loses a bunch of teeth, and then she gets
love it.
shot in the head. She probably has it the easiest. Ethan gets stabbed 7 times. Then he gets stabbed in the throat, and then she twists the knife, and then he ends up dying from getting a TV thrown at his head.
I thought he was stabbed like in the mouth.
Yeah, yeah, like in his mouth, but like she gets him like it goes back. You can hear the crunch when it gets to the back of his throat,
Always love the crunchy kills.
which also is kind of fun. And she says that he's gonna die a virgin, which I think is really great. And then Bailey gets stabbed 31 times and then gets stabbed in the eye.
I
And
love
I did
that.
count.
I love how with Ethan's death, they both get cool shit to say. Tara and Sam.
Yeah.
So after Tara kills Ethan, yeah, she goes, "Now die a fucking virgin," you
Uh-huh.
know, as alluding to him mentioning that earlier.
Yeah.
And then cuts back to Sam, who's about to kill Quinn, and goes, looks like you're down another brother. Mm.
Yeah. Oh, her expression is so good.
Her shrug afterwards, I
Yeah.
love that shit.
That like creepy little smile that she has. It's so good.
Yeah, it's definitely, yeah, definitely the Melissa Barrera show for a lot of this.
Oh yeah.
Um, ooh, and just when she, when she's out of bullets and then she fucking throws down the gun, she starts screaming and just runs at
Oh,
Bailey like
she
that.
says, fuck it. Just starts running towards him. I'm like, that's pretty good. And he's holding a gun and she
Yeah,
still runs toward him. I like
yeah.
that.
So hell yeah.
The bold move.
It's all good. I mean, this is all just kind of, like I said, I like the violence of it all. Um, Also, yeah, I think also with having Richie's like fake stab movies playing in the backgrounds.
Oh, his shitty like stab ripoff movie in the background. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that. And then Kirby, of course, getting that one-off kill. I
Mm.
saw that in a movie once,
Yeah.
which I'm like, did she? Like, it was very weird. Like, did she like just throw that TV from across the room
It
at
doesn't
him?
the
It looks
physics
weird.
of it does not make like just don't make sense to me. I thought the same thing because she looks like she's still lying on the ground. Like, or maybe she dropped back down to the ground.
She has head trauma from being knocked out.
Been shot and
She's been
stabbed.
multiple times. All right, but hey, I believe it. Sometimes you just get that fucking wild adrenaline and you're just ready to go. Maybe you can pick up and throw a
That
TV. That's a real thing.
that's true because maybe some of you listening are not young enough to have owned a bubble TV like that, but those fuckers are heavy
Heavy.
and not like balanced heavy either. So like you got to get a good grip on them because like one part of the TV is heavier than the other part.
Hmm.
So I just don't see an injured Kirby lifting that TV and then throwing it the distance it needs to go to hit Ethan in the face. But again, we'll leave it. Well, I like the adrenaline explanation. Good job.
Damn, so all of our killers are dispatched.
Hmm.
And that basically brings us to the end of our movie. You have everybody getting tended to,
So
with
many
the ambulance.
survivors.
So many survivors. Like I said, our last,
Oh yeah, Danny shows up with the cops. I love that.
yeah, because he's like, dude, you can trust me. I'm
Hmm.
okay. I'm here. Just here trying to help. Um, Kirby's alive. She's on the stretcher. Tara's like, oh, but poor Chad. But don't worry, Chad's good.
He's
We got
good.
another one. We got a live one. Like I think like they did the same thing with Dewey.
Very dewy. Hmm.
And he throws up his four,
Hmm.
and you're like, hell yeah,
That's cute. Yeah.
it's very cute. And then Mindy, Mindy was like, "Oh my God, how did I fuck up on Quinn?" But I'm like, "Oh, you did kind of nail Quinn earlier, but
Yeah. And also Mindy
it's not your fault she
just
faked her death."
but she's also like leaving the hospital with stab wounds. Like, did we
That's
already
also
get
true.
sutures? Like, she says that they gave her a lot of drugs, but I just don't see her running around after being stabbed so many times. That bothers me as well.
Gail's like, "Y'all can handle this. I'm fine. I'll see y'all in Scream 7.
Yeah.
Don't even worry. I know I'm good. I knew y'all
Taking a
could handle
nap
it."
at the hospital.
Sam was going to take a piece of evidence from this like murder scene, taking Billy's mask with her, ultimately decides, "I'm good. Let's leave it behind." Literally, metaphorically, what have you. Either way, we get that Demi Lovato needle drop.
Oh gosh.
It's in G minor, but then switches to G major in the chorus. It's so good. It gives me fucking, I don't know. I love that shit. It's so good. I love those pop chord changes.
I
Fucks me
know.
up every time.
I am not a fan of that song, but I do like this ending. I like her holding the mask and kind of like, you know, spacing out like into it and Tara pulling her out of that. I think that's really fun. I
Hmm.
would have liked to see how that progressed a little bit more with Sam, but presumably this is these characters' endings. But I mean, hey, you never know. There could be Scream 8. So before Scream 7 even happens.
You never thought maybe for a minute that Nev Campbell would come back, but it's looking like she
Exactly.
might. So yeah, I think I would be fine if this was like these characters' endings, where it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool, everything worked out for everybody. Okay, I don't know. I have no
Yeah.
issue with that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, dang, that's the end of our movie.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's a long ass movie.
Yeah, it is. And I think we did a good job covering this.
Yeah.
Now, anything else you want to say? Any notes that you didn't go over just yet before we hop into our last segments?
No, I think this movie is really fun to watch. As we've talked about it and like dissected it a little bit more, I think there's a lot of problems with it, but I think it's fun
Yeah, almost,
overall.
almost. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
So let's hear some taglines.
I'm excited for this one for taglines because there's only two,
Okay.
and I think they're both fun.
Oh yeah, give them to me.
Okay. In a city of millions, no one hears you scream.
Sure.
I like that one. I think it's
Yeah.
fun. Just a little dramatic, but this one's really great. New York, new rules.
Okay. I like it.
I like
Yeah.
it. They had new decade, new rules. What was your other one?
Newer decade, newer-ish rules, and then
Yeah.
yeah, and then you got New York, new rules. I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe the next movie's like in New Brunswick.
New
I don't.
Brunswick, new rules.
Yeah. Next one's New Jersey, new rules. Just a just a Jersey Scream movie.
I
That'd be
like it.
terrible. Yeah. Okay, so do we want to rank our okay, how what do you want to do this? You want to do boo scores and then ranking of the movies and killers?
Yeah,
Okay. I'll go first with my boo score.
great.
Okay. What did I give Scream 5? Do you
You
remember?
gave Scream 5 3.5.
Cool. I'm gonna give this one 3.5 too. I think
Mm.
this movie it's fun, it's brutal. Like I know you have to really suspend a lot of disbelief for this one. But I really think this movie gets should get a lot of credit for taking a lot more swings than the last one did. I think also by virtue of having a probably a more sizable budget.
Mm.
I think even if you're lacking in some of the kills, I do think that they're pretty brutal. Because it's like, how do you just stab all the time? It's like you gotta just
Yeah,
figure out some way to make it creative. So yeah, give him a fucking
they get
shotgun.
they get real creative with this one with the ways that they're
Yeah.
like fucking people up. I appreciate that.
all the new characters from Scream 5 I like better across the
Hmm.
board in Scream 6.
Yeah.
And you get, I think, more Gale Weathers really than you do. Because honestly, like, I guess you get more just,
I really feel
you
like
know,
it's even, but
I think every Gale scene was kind of supporting another character, whether she's just Sydney's sidekick or having that conversation with Dewey, and then that was kind of it.
mm,
Like she gets some cool moments, and then like the
hmm.
second she gets to the house, she gets shot and she's out for a while, and then she gets that little bit where she kills Amber, but she doesn't even get to finally kill Amber because Tara gets her. Whereas in this one, at least,
Yeah.
you get a full Gale, attack scene and some more jokes with her. And I love that just even at the end of Scream 5, she's like, "Oh, I'm a new person." I'm like, "No, you're not. And I love you for it. Never change." So, yeah. So, right now, I'm going to say I came in watching this being like, this movie is at least as good as Scream 5. So, 3.5 boos. What do you
Hmm.
got?
Okay. Um, okay, I actually have dropped my score since we finished talking. So I came into this giving it a 4, which would match my score for Scream 5,
Hmm.
but I'm bumping it down. Wait, would you bump it down? No, you'd drop it down. You'd bump it
Sure.
up. Okay, I'm going to drop it down to 3.5 boos because as much as I can, like, while I'm watching it, I can be like just totally accepting of all the things that are not making sense because I do think it's really super fun to watch. And I actually think it's more fun to watch than Scream 5. But because of all those inconsistencies and things that bother me, I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Hey, I love that. That's what I gave
Yeah.
it. And I also, spoiler alert, when I give my rankings, 5 is going to edge out 6 because you also get Sydney and Dewey.
Hmm. That was also a big thing for me as well. Okay.
Cool. So let's go into, you want to rank our movies or killers?
Let's do movies.
Okay. Um, how do you want to do this? You want to just keep going back and forth? You want me to just give you my full 6?
Give me your full 6.
All right.
Yeah.
So number one, Scream. Number two, Scream 4. Number two, or number three. Oh my
It's
God.
confusing.
Yeah. Number
Maybe
three
just list
is
them and don't say the numbers.
all right. Well, I'm going to say the numbers of the sequels. So I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
go 1, 4, 2, 5, 6, 3.
Mine's the same. That's why I said just list them out because I had a feeling mine would be the same.
You're putting 4 above 2 again?
Mine was 4 above 2 the whole time.
That's not true.
That is true. Here's Scream 5. Here's my list. Wait, I have it all written. Proof.
Now, I think this will be more fun. Let's talk killers. I can't believe we have the
Yeah.
same rankings at the end here, but
I know. I'm actually really surprised. How boring though. I was hoping we were gonna fight.
so killers. You want me to give my killer rankings? So there are 11 killers total.
I have 12.
All right, my ranking goes number one, Stu. Number two, Mrs. Loomis. Number three, Billy. Number four, Jill. Number six, Detective Bailey.
Wait, you skipped number 5.
You're right. Number five, Detective Bailey. He's in Scream 6. Don't worry about me.
Okay, he's
So
high on the list. Wow.
he
Okay.
is. He's just, of course, it's me. He's so unhinged and so dumb. I love it.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
And then I go Richie at number 6, Amber, number 7.
Ooh, you switched that up.
Oh, you're right. Okay. I'll stick with it. I don't care.
Okay. I like that. I like that change.
Next, I've got Quinn at number
Okay.
8, Mickey at number 9, Charlie at number 10, Ethan at number 11, because I'm just going to put all those incels at the fucking back of the line. Fuck them. And then dot, 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 Roman at number 12.
Oh, Roman, of course, is last. Okay. Um,
But kudos for the ambition.
yeah. Okay, our killer rankings are quite different. Are you ready?
Go for it.
So first I have Stu.
Love it.
Number 2, Mrs. Loomis.
We'll always have those two.
We'll always have those two. Number three, Jill.
Mhm.
Number four, Billy. Number five, Richie. Number six, Mickey. Number seven, Amber. Number eight, Quinn. Number nine, Charlie. Number 10, Bailey. 11, Ethan. 12, fucking Roman.
Fucking Ethan and Roman. They're the worst ones.
They're the worst ones. Where we really disagreed was Bailey and Mickey.
That was a big jump for both
That
of
was a
us.
big jump for both. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I do mean to put Amber above Richie. I do. So it goes Bailey, Amber, Richie, Quinn, Mickey, Charlie, Ethan, Roman.
I disagree. I still think Richie is better than Amber.
Amber did all the killings. I mean, Sam even fucking called it out. She was like, he was a fucking bitch ass whose girlfriend did all the killings.
I
He didn't do
mean,
shit.
you're right. Yeah. Damn. She did speak the truth, though.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and here we are at the end of Scream 6. And for now, at the end of our Scream series until, I
For
mean,
now.
I don't know. We can talk a little bit about how we feel about all the Scream 7 news, but
Mm-hmm.
I say let's save it.
I think we can save that for another day.
And the exciting part is, we're never going to be done talking about Scream. Don't worry.
Never.
Because, yeah, we've been ranking movies and we've been ranking the killers, but there's a lot more. I'm thinking like best openings, best
Mm-hmm.
kills, best motives. Like, there's a lot of things that
Mm-hmm.
we can rank. And believe me, if there's one thing that the internet loves, it's people ranking
Rankings.
things and getting
Yeah.
upset about people's rankings. So,
Yeah.
believe me, we're never going to stop talking about Scream. So stay tuned, y'all. But for
Yeah.
now, yeah, here we are. We're wrapping up.
Yeah. I really appreciate um people sharing their rankings of the films with us.
Some valid, some unhinged.
Yes, some valid, some unhinged. We won't say who. Um, but I would love to see some killer rankings as well, if anyone wants to share their killers. I know there's 12 of them, but I'd be curious to see because I feel like that's where the most diversity happens is with the killers. So share them, send them our way.
And I don't think we'll be able to get to it this year, even maybe. But if there are any series y'all want us to just fucking do just a straight shot through, like we've done with
Mm.
Scream, this is the only series we've done this before.
Hmm.
And we have some planned, just private discussions. But if there's anything else you
No
want us to do,
spoilers.
if y'all are like, we really need to hear about all
All
the
10
wrong
Saw
turn
movies.
movies. Oh,
We went in completely different direction. Damn, you're not going to make us watch all the wrong turn movies.
ooh, I think I would. Ooh, both sound really painful, but I think I would probably still watch Saw, knowing that it gets awesome. It's Saw 10.
Yeah, that's what really picks up.
All right. Anything else you want to say about Scream 6?
A little sad that we've gone through the first six, but it was fun.
Here's to the next six.
Yeah. Yes. That's the spirit.
Hell yeah. All right. Take care, everybody. Three, two, one. Ghostface.
Thanks for listening to our episode on Scream 6. If you enjoyed this episode and the rest of our Scream series, subscribe to our podcast and leave us a killer review wherever you choose to listen. Give us a follow on Instagram at 321ghostpod and share your Scream film rankings and your killer rankings. You can shoot an email to 321ghostpod@gmail.com to share any comments, questions, or suggest a franchise you'd like to hear us chat about. Next week, we're digging into a classic creature feature with Tremors. Thanks again for listening, and remember, we give a fuck about movies. 3, 2, 1, Ghostface.